Yes, indeed. Welcome back to the FACEIT Minor here for the European side of things, and it's already spiced up. Yesterday we saw Group A, and today we're going to be launching Group B into the cosmos. It's just about time for us to decide if some of these teams are going to be making it through to the major again or if they're going to have a tough time. But also, is this real life or is it just fantasy? Caught in a landslide with no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies, and see that I'm just a poor boy. I need no sympathy because I'm easy come, I'm easy go, a little high, a little low. Any way the wind blows, it doesn't really matter to me. So eloquently said by the band Queen, which has absolutely no bearing whatsoever to do with this desk and what's going on. My name is Trey Stunnis-Saranthus, and today we're going to be seeing if we can crown the kings of Group B. And, of course, to do that, the analytical side of things, people with the big brains and the big knowledge, it's going to be the sponge and it's going to be the maniac, and we're going to try to make some sense of Group B as it unfolds today.
Well, I'm Thunderbolt and he's Lightning.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Thunderbolts of lightning, I was just sticking with
Keep
the
going.
Rhapsody.
Yeah, we got it. We got something going here, I think, Chad. You know what, guys? Today is a interesting day. I think there's a lot of pressure being put upon at least the Ninjas of Pajamas storyline, but even some of these other teams. You know, you got Sprout and Red Reserve who are also trying to maybe make it up there for the first time.
Don't forget Kinguin as well. Obviously, they have Taz in the team, and he's been one to be the majors for as long as anyone can remember, and now he's down playing for, I guess, a lesser Polish side. But at the moment, in the Polish scene, there's no top dog. So here's a chance here to put a mark, take a step in the right direction, and get his boys fired up, because he's definitely the emotional leader of that squad. That's
you wanted to say
Shizzle.
elder. You wanted to say elder, don't lie.
Well, yeah, maybe I did.
I mean, if the shoe fits, right? Either way, guys, it's going to be a slam-packed action day as we try to unfold this one. Group A played out yesterday, and we did see Ints and company make it through, which was after a long, turbulent showing, but they were able to pull it out there over 3 max in the very end. Guys, just really quickly, how can we recap yesterday?
Expected, I suppose.
I guess Optic pretty much did what they were supposed to do. They kind of had to fight against ENCE to deserve that playoff spot. And then ENCE actually also confirmed their great form from ESL1 Cologne. They showed a great resilience. They had not easy game at all, but they managed to pull through. Yeah,
I think it's good that they backed that form up to just show that they are legitimate. And the way that they play Counter-Strike, it's built on a really good base, really good fundamentals. I think the one that fell flat for me was that of Left Out. Now I was expecting more from them. Actually, you touted them as my dark horse of the tournament, but they didn't really bring any, I guess, fire to the plate, because they just came as individuals. They said they didn't practice. They said that you know, they were just here to have fun, I guess. And well, they're still having fun. They're playing pool. They're playing kicker. They're playing some Time Crisis 4. They're enjoying the facilities here at the Faces Minor.
Enjoying the facilities is what it's all about, and perhaps some of the teams that we're about to talk about are doing just that. We had a chance to kind of catch up and learn a little bit more about these teams going into Group B today.
Group B action kicks off with Kinguin. With the skill and experience of Taz, the side look to be a threat to Group B competition. Their first hurdle, Sprout. With some convincing wins over Red Reserve and Ago in the minor qualifier, Speedy proved he was a force to be reckoned with. But will it be enough to take down Kinguin in their debut match? Ninjas in Pajamas are the third team to make up Group B. Veterans of Counter-Strike, the sides are looking to return to form with new addition in-game leader Lekro. In a Swedish derby, Ninjas in Pajamas will turn to face Group B's final team, Red Reserve. All eyes will be on 16-year-old Brolin and Hampus coming into this series.
Yes, indeed. These teams getting locked in, getting geared up, and strapping their seatbelts on for what should be a wild ride here through Group B today. And even more so than that, just learning about some of these teams in terms of Sprout and Kinguin. Perhaps we talk a little about Sprout?
We can start with Sprout. Yeah, I suppose they were more of a German team for some time there, but they've slowly been bringing in different pieces of the puzzle that are Danish. So now they're more of a Danish squad. They're actually, I think there's 3 Danish members, and then there's Dennis and Speedy, who, if people remember back, were in the Mouse Sports roster. This is some time ago now. They actually played in the last major, though they were there, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that's correct.
And, you know, there's a bit of history within this squad. They've gotten Nada Safix in there. He was like just doing a streaming kind of thing for a while, doing commentary, and now he's playing in a professional team. So this squad it's kind of weirdly thrown together, but it seems to work.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, it feels a little bit like team by default. And I actually have an anecdote that I'm actually authorized to share to the viewers at home. This roster, this 5 minutes of Sprout, was not supposed to happen as it is right now.
Okay.
2.5 months ago, they had the bootcamp planned with a 5th player that basically just bailed on them the day before the bootcamp was supposed to happen.
Should we call anyone out? Or?
No, I don't have the name, and even if I had, I wouldn't say it.
Well.
But basically what happened is Percy was brought 1 day before the bootcamp saying, do you want to come? Yeah, just jump on the plane and come play with us.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, man, do you like Counter-Strike? Cool, we like Counter-Strike too. So, yeah, come on down. We're going to hang out for a little while and do this boot camp thing. And we're going to hang out with Freya now, who is down on the sidelines with Sprout. Freya, what do you got for us?
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with NATO from Sprout. So are you guys happy to be here in London and at the Minor?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's for me the biggest accomplishment in my career. We have 2 more tenured players in Dennis and Timo, who have obviously been at a few majors by now. So we have the experience, and also for the new guys, the 3 Danes here, it means a lot for us to be here at the Minor.
Yeah, because Percy joined the team pretty recently. How was he integrated into the team?
Well, I think, Percy does what Percy does, He's an aggressive entry frag, and it's exactly what we needed. We needed a guy to fit that exact role, and I think he's just fallen into it quite beautifully. So I think, yeah, Percy's a valuable asset to any team, and we're lucky enough to have him.
So you feeling confident in how the team is set up as a unit?
Yeah, for sure. I think our biggest strength here, I mean, compared to the other teams, you have teams like Optic, right, they have so many star players. In our team, I would say we don't really have one star player, but we just play off of each other. We have the chemistry, and I think we just got a really well-rounded team. So we have a really good team in terms of roles. We have good chemistry, and that's what's going to be winning us the games today.
So moving on to your game, your first game today is against Kinguin. How have you been preparing for this?
Well, I mean, it's probably not a secret that we've done a lot of analysis. We also had a decent read on how the video was going to go, and it turned out how we expected it to. So I'd say we're well prepared. We'll see how individually prepared we are, like aim-wise and mechanically, but I'd say strategically, there's nothing else we could have done that we haven't already.
Because last time you faced Kinguin, it was a pretty close game, but you managed to pull it out. So are you feeling confident going up against them as your first opponents?
Yeah, I mean, on HLTV, the score looks close, right? But I think we were even up 12-0 or 13-0. And then it ended up being an overtime game that we won because we have this tendency to, let stupid rounds go. I think when we met them in the minor qualifier, they were better than us. We met them in MDL. We were the better team. And we'll see here today who becomes, the champion of the day.
So you said you let those rounds go. Is that something you're focusing on, tightening up your team communication and how you're playing together?
That's something you'd normally do, right?
Yes.
But it's not really a problem. I mean, we are so far ahead, then it usually gets to some crazy close scoreline, and then someone on TeamSpeak, I think it's usually me, that just says, hey guys, it's not fun anymore, let's just close out the game and win. Then we can, take a break or whatever. So normally, it's definitely something I'd focus on in a team, but in our current team, the chemistry is just so good that even when we let so many stupid rounds go and we get to such a close situation when we've been so far in front, I think we always still win it. So there's no reason to fix what ain't broke, right? It's a bit stupid perhaps, but it's working out for us so far, and yeah.
Oh, confident words from you, NATO. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck in your game. We're going to head back over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Freya the Slayer. In fact, let's get some Pog champs in the chat for Freya. She's doing a pretty good job down there, boys.
_ Slayer. Has to be Freya _
Okay.
Because then it's more like an esports name.
Yes, I do think it kind of fits the alias criteria a little bit more.
Yeah.
But either way, we do have Sprout versus Kinguin, and I think that this could potentially be a back-and-forth battle. Is that fair to say, Maniac?
Yeah, well, if you consider the results, they have played each other quite a lot in 2018. Once it was Sprout actually won in overtime in the best of one. That was an MDL. Then Kinguin won 2-1 in the minor qualifier. So pretty much back and forth. I don't think there is a clear favorite going to this.
We have to keep in mind one thing, though. What do those two results have in common? Online. We're on land now, ladies and gentlemen.
All of that for that. My goodness.
I was ready for something big.
Yeah, I was ready for something big. Like these brackets here. B for big for Group B. Let's take a look at the brackets and see what you can expect today in terms of matchups. Kinguin versus Sprout kicking us off, followed by Nip versus the Red Reserve. Of course, the storyline that I think everyone is looking at right now is, can the Ninjas of Pajamas secure a spot in the major again?
You know, I love predictions, Trace. Can we do something fun? Can we say right now the top 2 teams who we think are going to make it out of this group before we see any play happen?
Would you like to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Ninjas.
Okay.
And probably I'm going to go with Sprout.
Okay.
I'm going to go Ninja and Kinguin.
We're saying it like Swedes.
Yeah, why?
Because they can't pronounce
Ninja.
the
Yeah,
Ya's.
I live in Norway.
Cooking with Jordan is
They try hard, though.
it's pretty impressive. They go for a light yog in the morning, whatever that is.
Wait, who was the second team?
Kinguin.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to have...
You're the prediction king.
Yes, I'm the prediction king, and with that, you can base all of your... Never mind, don't do that. Definitely don't do that. I don't like the hate. I don't want the hate. But I think it's time for either Nip to put up or shut up. And, well, perhaps I think maybe Taz can lead Kinguin onward.
Okay, so you guys are settled on the same 2 teams.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Yeah, is that cool? Or?
Well, there is also a chance that NIP just completely fall flat, don't even make it out of their group, don't make it to the major at all, completely disintegrate as a team, and then the death this year will be of both Virtus Pro and Ninjas in Pajamas.
You heard it here first live from Chad Burchill. Go ahead and tweet at him anything. He will confirm or deny it all. He does have insider information, and he's ready to display that. Now, we took a look at the brackets, and we were able to kind of paint a picture there, but perhaps it's time we switch the gears and take a look at Team Kinguin, a team that we're talking about here, led by the veterancy of the likes of Taz, former Virtus Pro fame, and, well, just a renowned champion across the world.
Damn straight. Yeah, I think this unit, though, like we said before, there's no top team right now in Poland, right? You've got the likes of Ego, you've got the likes of a completely destroyed Virtus Pro, and then you have Kinguin, and then obviously Snacks has gone over to play with Mouse Sports. So the Polish scene is quite diluted and spread at this point. I think this is a good chance, you know, for Taz, the man that we're talking about here in question, to grab some younger players, lead by example. These guys are definitely going to respect everything he's done for the game and the scene, and it is like a really good opportunity for him to I guess, make it another chapter in what is already a storied career. Some of the other names which you may notice of players who have played at majors in the past would be the likes of Rallen, for example. We do know that these kind of guys have what it takes, and they have looked hot. It's just they've been under the thumb of VP for so many years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what is interesting with Kinguin, even the roster before Taz, was they were always a little bit lurking in the shadow of these tier 2 teams that's at some point would make like a good result against a very good team, maybe a good showing at an event, but they never really made it to this tier 1, like this big group, the big table. Never made it. So can Taz be the one that pushed them to it?
Could he give them that sort of edge? And I think a lot of the times when we'd see these guys, it would be like Mountain Dew League finals, or we'd see them right on that sort of fringe setting to where, yeah, they could have the potential. They always had some players that always kind of stuck out, but now that they've undergone some roster change, they do have Taz at the helm. Perhaps we can expect a different showing.
Well, here's the thing. Here's how I see it. When you're a team and you have to progress together, it takes a certain amount of time. You have to play some events, LANs, then you regroup, you take the experience out of it. Bringing a player like Taz, it's not going to be magic, but it's probably going to be fast forward. You can gain 2, 3, 4 months of experience because he has been there, he has done it. Even though the latest time with Virtus Pro was not that beautiful, it doesn't matter. He knows what it is to be a big team, like the best team. He won a major. He knows how to be a professional that has success, and if he can distribute that to the team, they can just jump forward into their progression.
And it'll be really cool to see if this lineup can find themselves playing in front of a larger crowd, how he can use his veterancy to kind of calm the nerves across the entirety of the roster.
Well, back here it's quiet as a mouse, so hopefully there aren't too many issues. He doesn't need to really help people with that kind of stuff in the group stages here for Group B. But when we kick this one off, Trace, I think, you know, this head-to-head matchup, because they have played online a little bit, obviously that factors into things like the veto, and because they do play in the realms of, I don't want to say tier 2, but they're playing within the same kind of leagues and qualifiers, that they know each other's tendencies a little bit more, right? That's what really happens when you're playing against opponents all the time. So it's going to be curious to see. I think that the map is going to be where I need to really dictate my thoughts on this one.
Well, again, these are best of ones for the beginning parts of the group stage, and then we move on to a best of 3. But I suppose, like, even if we look at this matchup pound for pound, is this one that's going to be more of a landslide affair, or can Sprout somehow kind of, you know...
Painting Sprout out of this one already.
I'm not painting Sprout out of it,
bro.
But I'm trying to say that, you know, this could be a clash of Titans. Maybe not Titans.
Why not? No, here's the thing. Because Kinguin have a pretty diverse map pool, which is pretty, not, I would say, uncommon for tier 2 teams. They play the likes of Nuke, they play Train, they are happy to play just 2. So obviously best of 1 doesn't give you that much room for a mind game, but I still think they're going to be in a more comfortable position when it comes to veto, and maybe they're not going to play Train, but they're going to be able to make the choice at what kind of middle ground map we land on. I would give them a slight advantage when it comes to that, but then pound for pound, player for players, not so clearly, I'd say.
Yeah, I think it's quite blurred because these aren't teams that have standout stars in the same right as what we'd say, paint like a FaZe or like a top tier team where it's quite clear to see who the stars are, right? These guys are just going to be, I think, both quite strategical units that rely on good fundamentals and the basics of Counter-Strike with some cool innovations of strategy. That's why I think we'll probably be leaning towards something more strat heavy as a map. I don't think we'll be seeing a Mirage or an Inferno. I think it'll be something more like an Overpass or a Nuke or something like that, like something where we're actually going to get a little bit more diversity in the tactics, which in this kind of group, when you're going up against a Red Reserve or an NRP in the next round who are more keeping it basic with their new styles, it's a really good thing for these guys in the Vita.
Oh boy. Can't wait till we get to see this NIP lineup with Lekro at the helm. It's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. But we're not quite there yet. In fact, we could perhaps take a look at two of the players that we've highlighted as sort of, I guess, the ones to look out here. I believe these are going to be your team captains in both Taz and Percy. And, well, if we take a look at their numbers, chat, what do we got?
Well, we always, like we said, have to paint these numbers not with a grain of salt, but the fact of the matter is when you're playing online Counter-Strike, when you're playing against different opponents, all these different factors have to come in here, and you can see the amount of games played for Taz. This is over the last 3 months, has been 96 games, and that's 66 for Percy. So quite a large sample size there. For that to be on LAN, I don't think that is the case. Maybe the brackets don't coincide in that regard, but like we mentioned, Taz is going to be the emotional leader. When you look at his stats in this team, it's not towards the top by any means. What he brings to this squad isn't necessarily fragging prowess. He brings the leadership kind of role, the fact that he is so experienced and he can keep the guys together, and maybe that's what this younger team needs to get across the line.
Well, the younger team always do need that sort of driver in the driving seat. But again, these are best of ones. And this is where things truly get volatile. I believe that this is where basically anything can happen, and perhaps you don't get to the map that you really expected in the vetoes, and I believe it could come down to that, which is certainly what we're going to be talking about very soon, the map vetoes. With that, guys, what kind of a, I guess, veto process should we expect here?
Well, here's the thing. I think Sprout are in a very bad position when it comes to veto. I've just looked a little bit at the maps they play. For example, Dust 2 is their main veto, so I'm assuming we should see a Dust 2 ban from Sprout. And then the other maps that they could play that are a little bit exotic, they are actually not favoring them at all. Sprout has a 0% win on Overpass the last 3 months.
Wonderful. Pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Nuke could be an option, but then again, they faced Kinguin twice over the last month, and they lost both times. So do they want to go for Nuke again? So I don't really see how Sprout can end this veto thinking we've won it. This is the map we wanted, and they are in a bad position. I don't think they can land anywhere there.
Just to recap, the last 4 times these two teams played, which is from the 30th of June until now, they played on Overpass, Train, Nuke, and Train again. And the Train games are the only ones which have gone in favor of Sprout. So they would be hoping to get to play that map, but Kinguin have removed it as their second ban. Right now, we still have the likes of Dust 2 in the pool, as well as Nuke.
No, we don't. This is where Sprout has to ban Nuke, in my opinion, or they're ready for it.
Dust 2 is gone, yeah, I'm blind. Okay, so I think it is going to be Nuke here. I'm feeling we're going to get a Nuke coming out, and they must have prepared, looked at the tendencies. Maybe this is one that, Kinguin thought would be completely removed from the pool. And this is the opportunity that, hey, maybe they've gone, if we prepare properly, we can take advantage of Kinguin, and they might not be expecting this pick. But the fact that they've been beaten by them so many times on it, the confidence has to be with Kinguin coming into this matchup.
I believe you would be right. Obviously, that's the way that would go if you think about it. But I guess at this point, I mean, if we're going into Nuke, does that sort of change the dynamic at all and say, like, does it change where you guys stand on who you think is going to walk away with this one?
For me, it does a little bit because Polish teams are normally really good on Nuke. Like, historically, Virtus Pro has been one of their best maps, and Taz obviously carrying that through to this team. So I was going to go for Sprout because I said that, I think that they could go out of this group. But I think in this opening matchup with Nuke on the table and the LAN experience, I think is probably leaning a little bit more in the favor of the Kinguin roster. It makes me lean towards them.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I think Taz with Virtus Pro and even Kinguin, they have a capacity to win T rounds, which is, to me, is very key when you accept to play Nuke in a best of one, because you cannot go into the map thinking, oh, I hope we win the 9th round, because then we can win the game. I think they really have this capacity to win a lot of T rounds. They have a very diverse game, so because of that, I will favor Kinguin as well.
Well, we are actually waiting to get in the game, but unfortunately, Henry Greer is in the bathroom. So if you guys could tweet at him and tell him to hurry up whatever he's doing. And
well, maybe he's got some stomach problems.
Oh, perhaps. I mean, it's what happens when you eat late at night, I suppose.
We have some Polish players, we have some Danish players, and we have some German players. Do you know any of those languages, Trace?
Polish, Danish, I think I know.
And German.
just about a little bit in all of them.
All right, give me the little bit of all of them.
Let's see. German would be Nein Schüssen, so don't shoot.
Okay, I taught you some as well.
Guten Morgen would be like good morning.
You're saying it like
Guten
a bit
Morgen.
of a potato there.
Okay, Spud. So what was the other two?
Ace
Danish?
Ventura cosplay today.
Yes.
Yep, Danish.
Danish.
You spent 3 months there. I expect you to have picked up a little bit.
Maybe we revisit that one. What was the other one?
And Polish. And there's one of the ones you can't say.
Yeah, there's one Polish word and phrase you definitely cannot say.
You must know thank you.
But it's not. Wouldn't be spasiba. It would be
Dziękuję?
Dziękuję or Janky. Janky to all the viewers at home who are putting up with our antics as we wait on Henry Greer. I'm pretty sure he's just now finishing whatever nonsense he does there in the bathroom. And again, if you didn't see it below, use hashtag FACEITMiner, get involved in social media, and tell Henry Greer to hurry up. Oh, wait. We got him. He's back. Henry, Sadakist, are you guys ready?
I think Henry is now. It's just vocal warm-ups, Trey. Dr. Trey.
Dr. Trey. That's good.
Trey.
I wasn't in the bathroom. I was just kind of psyching myself up outside, making sure I'd kind of get my head in the zone, you know, something I like to do, like rituals, kind of like scream into a pillow and stuff, and kind of like slap myself in the face.
Oh, that's your morning and night ritual.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. You start and end the day like that.
It's absolutely true. So there we go. That's what I was doing. They're not even ready to go yet. So I was fine. I was well within my rights to go use the bathroom. We're going to be playing Nuke. Have they done the veto?
Yeah,
okay,
so we're playing Nuke.
For everyone.
Yes, that's absolutely true. They're doing the knife round just now. Now, this is interesting, Henry, because this is the first time that you and I will have seen Taz outside of Virtus Pro in person. Obviously, he's been playing with Kinguin for a while now, but this is the first time we see it. Second time we're going to see Sprout.
Are we excited about the prospect of these two teams? We think they can make it through? Do they have what it takes?
It's tough. I mean, look, Sprout took over a lot of the Penta guys, and therefore last time we saw them was, you know, in the last major cycle, and didn't look super promising, but another endeavor in the German scene, similar to Big, where they went out and did their own thing. Netisfix coming in, as they talked about, obviously was previously more of a streaming capacity, sort of community member, if you will, more so than a player. And am I excited about the prospects? That's the question you've asked me. Look, I favor Kinguin. Rollin's been in a major before. Taz has obviously won a major before. And I think that they've always sort of been a team. I think Rollin, when he's on, they can upset. They can be there.
Yeah, it's true. Well, we have seen Sprout. What was the event we saw them at first? It was a few months ago.
I said the last major cycle because that's when it was in the calendar, but I can't remember the specific event that we saw them at.
They were at the qualifier, I think, for Boston is when we saw them.
Yes.
And
yep.
they managed
so
to
it was actually the
they
major
beat
cycle. That's
Space
right.
Soldiers on cobblestone in their opening game. We thought, okay, there's a chance for them here.
Yeah.
But they didn't really do much else than that. I haven't watched this team since then. I know they're always going to be quite fundamentally sound. I think they're obviously going to focus more on the strategies and kind of set-piece elements of gameplay. They haven't exactly got a star-studded roster. They've got Nato Safix now, who's obviously quite prevalent in FPL. They brought him in as a fragger, I believe, and obviously you've got some household names like Dennis and Speedy from Mouse Sports tenure, and then Percy and Cyclone. Cyclone, especially not a name I'm aware of. Is Cyclone?
I think it was Cyclone, but what happened was he was on being in a German team, he was on actually an English keyboard, pressed the wrong key, got an R instead. And,
well, there we go.
You know, it's stuck. So
it's a shame. There's Dennis and Speedy, the old tag team duo right there at the end. We haven't seen much of Sprout since that infamous last major qualifier. We'll see whether they can make it to the same stage this time. So obviously the minus is to start at Group B, our inaugural game of this group. Looks like we're ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into the action, shall we? Will be a CT start for the German/international boys. We've got Kinguin, the Poles, on the T side here. I'm not really sure who's going to win. I guess, just like you said, players I'm more familiar with, and Kinguin have played their majors before. Taz seems to be quite comfortable in this project. We'll see what happens here on Nuke. There will be one smoke, a Molotov. As we get into it, it's going to be Taz. He's going to be on the roof, presumably deploying the Molotov on top of the hut roof, the smoke towards the ladder, and you can see his teammates getting ready towards main entrance. They'll go for a fast split. Malzino just to hold for the ramp flank if anyone comes in behind them. That's what I assess the situation to be. Let's see how accurate that is. There's the smoke. It's actually going towards main entrance, but looks think, will the Molotov go on the hut roof? It sounds like it has. Indeed, it will, and it's going to be Dennis to defend as the upper split comes in.
Cyclone will hold out by Annex. Smoke down. There's a good chance they wrap that direction, but only if they can get by Dennis, and so far that's a problem. He shuts down 3 from the box from Big Garage. And in doing so, drops the bomb. Taz, meanwhile, had gone the other direction. He was hoping to wrap in behind as rotations occurred and perhaps get toward Heaven when they wanted to walk in the front door. He has gotten that far, but he won't go up the ladder. It's a 4th kill for Dennis. 1 kill, or 1 man with all the kills, rather, so far. And if I wanted to continue on and play off my little slip-up, I could have just said 1 kill from the ace, because he is. And Malzino will head toward Percy first. Not a chance that Dennis will get there, but he'll try. He'll rotate around. Percy going down gives Dennis a chance, and he gets it. Ace to start it off.
Well, there we go. He manages to light them up. Dennis with 4 kills. Speedy to finish things off there. And not really much done for Kinguin at all. Like we said, we built up the execution with the Molotov, the flashbangs, and Taz's smoke towards main entrance. Unfortunately, didn't find really anything at all. 1 frag obtained. That was picked up by Malzino, as they'll go for the force buy here in the 2nd round. Very difficult to make this work on a map like Nuke. The Deagles are your best option for finding a kill outside, perhaps move towards ramp. And you can see Nato Safix actually hitting the first shoulder scout there. It's going to be Rallen. He's down to 7 HP. Speedy with the job of holding towards the ramp room there. You can see they're focusing more on rifles here. They've got 3 of those. A scout as well, just 1 MP9. That's going to be in the hands of Percy. He's holding on top of the hut roof. Perfect position for that particular weapon. And so we'll just be waiting for anyone to show themselves outside. He's already done some damage. That should funnel them towards the upper bomb site. But Rallen fancies his chances. He'll be throwing a smoke just to block some vision by the looks of things. Polish squad with some experienced players. Never really found any sort of real glory. Always just been in the shadow of Virtus Pro, really. But I guess you could call them a bigger and more promising team at this point. We're not sure. 50 seconds, and like I said, T-side, 4 spies in the 2nd round. It's unlikely it's going to work out on a map like Nuke. They're just going to walk into ramp now. Speedy should get 1, then drop down. Maybe drop down already. Has got some backup from that scout. Doesn't connect the shot, but good HE grenade. That's going to do a lot of damage.
Takes out Malzino, in fact. So now to Safix with a throw. Now drop down. Speedy has retreated. He's getting all the way around a control room, playing a very tight angle. He's not really going for kills, and maybe an angle best served at the beginning rather than the end. As he re-peeks back out, Reitz hits a great shot on the Deagle. Dennis, meanwhile, still holds off and takes down the bomb. M4 in hand. He's dropped by Taz, so they're making it expensive on the Kinguin side with 2 kills, both going against rifles. And he's dropped. Mini-seek. Mini-sesik.
Well, there's the 2nd round 4 spy. Completely handled there by Sprout. Nothing too controversial going on there. It's going to be the full eco now from the T side. We'll see Glocks, maybe a P250. A couple of them perhaps, and no nades, no armor. And you can see the round loss bonus signified $1,900. Lovely little GUI they've got here at FACEIT. Shout out to the guys working on that. We've kind of given them feedback yesterday. I think it's the most perfect GUI we have right now. It's got all the information I need at least. I don't even need to be in game. It's perfect. As we'll get into another very easy round for Sprout here. They're on the CT side. It's arguably the most CT-sided map we have right now. It's up there with Train.
I wonder if they're a bamboo shoot.
What, the Sprout?
Yeah, because like they've been a Sprout for a while, but a bamboo shoot takes like years in the ground before it shoots up out in like 100 and something feet over 3 months or something. I forget what it is.
But it's thin but strong, and you know all about that.
I know all about. Well, it depends on what pills I take.
Don't start. So we'll get into a final 5 versus 1 here, and we'll see Nato finish things off. He'll be Ryan to be dropped. Another 5-man sweep, as Sprout have a lot of money now. And we'll have a bonus round ahead of them here. Nato will go for the AWP. So there we go. They're going to bolster their firearms and have MP9s on Percy and Cyclone and this AWP outside. So presumably the MP9s play up close towards Squeaky Door and on top of the hut. That's absolutely fine on a map like Nuke. You can actually use some of the cheesier weapons. You can use the auto shotgun. All the players will try that out on the CT side as Rallen's boosted out to look for any players crossing over towards the secret steps there. There's the AWP up against the buy of Kinguin after the force buy. No bombs being planted. You can see it is bare bones. You can see Reitz hasn't even got a helmet. That's actually quite a massive deal against those MP9s. And indeed the FAMAS. They've got the 5 smokes, but not everything they possibly require. Here's one of the outside smokes here for a little bit later than usual. So that's just quite a standard procedure to take vision away from players like this. He's got the AWP towards outside. He doesn't know what kind of numbers have made it towards the secret steps, but he does slow them down somewhat with the incendiary there final smoke comes in. But this still could be a bit dicey. There is a big gap there. Dennis wants to utilize that if possible. We can see that if they walk across, he's guaranteed a kill on Ralin. As he holds up, it's going to be Nato that takes it first. Lovely shot by him. And you can see gaps in smokes. And this particular sort of strat is really far from ideal. That shouldn't be happening. If you want to make it to a major, the smokes sometimes aren't perfect, but it's quite rare to see these days. You're going to see flashbangs deployed outside. Reeds could actually do some damage here. Nice shot to take down Dennis, and that's leveled the playing ground.
Back out, Speedy. Gets down at Minis. That's a good kill because it's also the bomb that drops outside, making it quite clear that Sprout have control of it. Nuke in a best of one. CT side so far going well. Taz has to try and make amends. He's actually gone in between two players. And to get the bomb, he will not yet be spotted by Cyclone, who now swings back out from the box, and Speedy gets the kill from the stairs. Double peek. But it's Reeds on heaven.
10 seconds though, Matt. I feel like his days are numbered here. He gets a couple of kills, but they might be in vain. And he might not get any cash for the next round. He will have the AK, and his kit right now is worth more than the money he's going to get. It just almost forces him and his team to force buy in this next round, because they've got an AK, he's got no cash, they might as well level things out. We'll see where they go for it, or if they want to take something a bit more conservative. So armor CZs, so it is a partial buy, not going to go fully commit. They have got the maximum loss bonus going to the next round, as you can see. Bottom left, $2,100 into this one, so let's see if the AK can find a couple of kills and get to about $1,000. That would be fine. It means he can definitely buy for the next round. Nades towards main entrance there. Cyclone just holding them off. There's a chance of winning these rounds, and sometimes they're the most difficult to hold. Strange, faster strategies can come in. Wolf packs of CZs making their way towards positions like ramp. But nice smoke to hold them off for now. Speedy, like most ramp players, aim for one kill, drop down. You're not trying to find 2-3 frags in that position. You're just trying to get the intel, hold them off as long as you can. One kill, drop down, hopefully make it towards lower unscathed. That's the idea anyway. Another good smoke that. It's buying more time. But the terrorists are happy to wait. They've got a minute on the clock here. They know they've baited out 2 smokes now at ramp, so presumably once that starts going down, flash in, hopefully catches Speedy, or be forced to drop down, and they at least have ramp room.
So Speedy to hold. Spots flash. Does somehow blinded. Drops, gets a kill. And then falls off it. That brings Natasafix into position on Turnpike. Kill from him, and then a fall in angle. He goes all the way back towards CT connector, if you want to call it that, but towards CT. Means he dropped toward the ladder position. More importantly, it puts pressure back on Speedy because he can't re-peek right away. Bomb down, doesn't know that he's going to the right. Checked it too soon. I mean, he's able to slide out with a P250. He'll continue on, leave the bomb to be gathered by his teammate Rollin, because he wants to try and get information. Rollin's got an AK, good find, but they don't have a lot of time. 19 seconds. Surprisingly, they commit to that plant, which is well served in that it won't allow the player at ramp to get behind them, but it doesn't quite give Cyclone the angle. It nearly gave them a denial spot. Meniz, good find on Percy, but it is down to the AK of Rollin. Natasafix does get back into position eventually on the AWP, but I'm not sure they're aware he's gone toward control room. Window's still intact, as he just has to play this to perfection. Kit on either, no smoke. Bomb in the open, good find from Rollin. The stairwell is a lot deeper, different angle. Breaks the window to imply that he's going out of it and opens the opportunity to do so, but gets the corner. And Nato was running because he had to, no time, and therefore obviously picked off.
Partial buy victory there, and I think that's all down to Dennis overcommitting. They weren't planting towards lower, and he was the only player available to deny it. This kill right here, that was when it all went wrong. Why he's facing that so openly, I couldn't tell you. All he has to do there is show presence, to shoulder peek it, make sure he delays them and denies them the plant. He stands right in the open, knowing 2 players are going towards lower, and that really was not an ideal situation for him. A little bit of bloodlust coming in there, perhaps. You really need to look at the bigger picture and think, okay, if I can deny them having a decent plant, if they're planted behind the silo, for example, that sets us up for a nice defuse situation. If it goes in the open like that after he's dropped, they know window's clear, things become very problematic indeed. And Natasafix was left in the 1-versus-1 with the CZ, had this run around the corners, time was ticking away. They still have lots of cash, they can get a full buy here, but it's the last of the money. As you can see, they've got everyone fully invested on the CT side now. Kinguin should be much better off after winning a partial buy. Let's see what they can do here. 4-1 as they post their first round. Maybe a faster strat here. Or getting in position. They made out the door for him. It's going to be Minisek to... Is it Minisek?
It's Miniz. He's always been known as Miniz.
We're not going to go for the full thing.
Mini Sesic.
Minisek. Miniz.
Minisek. Cassasinium?
Exactly. Is that what we're going for?
Yeah, Cassasinium. Or not Ium, it'd just be Im. Zat?
Are you doing everyone backwards?
Just everyone backwards.
Zat. Go on, do Malzeno backwards.
Give me a second. Onizaum.
That sounds better. Well, outside play coming in. These are the smokes before. Remember, they did have a gap, and Dennis from the main entrance, ready for players above him. Needs to be careful here. Overcommits once again. Could have fallen back with the man advantage, but went for the duel. NATO Safix will back him up and maintain that man advantage here. And he is watching the cross towards Secret. Does Maniz dare check towards the air conditioning unit? Smoke down. Not the best of smokes, so NATO still has a slight gap there if he faces from main entrance, but he's just to walk in here. Up to Cyclone. If he can get one of these kills, that should be round done, but he can't do it. Maniz will take him down. Percy waiting on the side, but Taz hasn't even checked the side. Down he goes. That's really sloppy.
Yep. There's two players towards Squeaky. Why is one of them not even looking toward heaven at the very least to spot that angle?
Yeah, that was really far from ideal. They still can win this round. Unfortunately, not going to happen for Malzeno there. You had 18 seconds. I'm sure they're aware that the pressure was on. They thought they might have an open sight, but at least check it. Do what you can. And that will be the reset. They did win the partial buy, of course. That was through the smoke. But it's still, to buy the AWPs and all the utility they wanted, still cost them a lot. And there's the final frag. It will be the force buy here from the Polish squad. We'll see 1 AK, a Galil, 3 pistols, and a faster approach for looks of things. No one towards outside at all. I think that's going to bust out the door and hope for the best here. Smoke goes down. Looking pretty good with one player in the vents, but it's not as easy to access the lower bomb site these days. You can't actually run straight to the site. You have to go through the maze, get towards Decon or the window door. They have managed to get a few players down there. Speedy in a bit of trouble here. Does get 1 kill. They'll be able to find a plant here. There is going to be Taz, low HP, but Reitz does get a confident plant. And like we said, that's an easier defuse once it goes behind the silo because the CTs get the benefit of the defense as well. A plethora frags coming in. It's now going to be a 3 versus 2. Definite chance here for Reitz and Co. As the grenade connects, but so does the headshot. And that will be all the frags going in favor of Sprout. 6-1. Force buy reasonably successful. They get a couple of kills and the bomb down. Seems like lower could be an exploitable area for them. The ramp split sort of worked out. They get a bomb plant, but 3 players do survive with the CTs. And presumably that's the eco. Look at the frag charts while we're here. Taz 1 and 7. No one really lighting up the scoreboard just yet. 3 players and 4 frags for Kinguin. And at the very top will be Dennis for Sprout with 9 kills. Everyone contributing. Cycler a little bit less with 3 and 2. NATO Safix, the Orpa on 7 frags. So there we go. Eco now. Deagles, no armor. No nades, just trying to work any sort of frag they can. And remember, the only victory they had so far was from a partial buy, and they had 4 pistols and 1 AK.
Dennis still holding on from outer, wants the wrap toward the red crate. In fact, he gets aggressive, knows that his teammate on the AWP has spotted a number of players at the outside corner, so he takes matters into his own hands, but no success as of yet. Good damage done to both Rollin and Maniz. And it's back the other way. No advance to outer. Good dink. Speedy weakened again. He'll have to be efficient and drop off ramp this time as well, given the outside presence earlier on. There's actually no one to rotate onto Turnpike in order to help Speedy, as we've often seen Nato doing. So he's well and truly down below. And they've got some room to wiggle and ramp. We'll see if the pistols can actually get toward a site. As you say, ramp seems to be a point on the map at least that they could potentially exploit. I say potentially because they have to identify that themselves.
Well, they managed to get through there now. But what to play at this point, you can see a very passive hold coming from the CTs here. Nato well aware of the risk of the heaven position. He'll be holding her up right now. He'll definitely get the first kill here. There's not really much they can do about that. He'll get the first, but can he find anything more? Will he be traded out? Rowland seems to think it's possible, but they just run at the ladder. Not really much they can do here. Nice play by Nato just to buy some time, protect himself. But a bomb will not be planted, unfortunately. Dennis well too aware. Sprout running away with this best of 1. Remember, this is not a continuation of yesterday. This is Group B now. We've already got our 2 teams to the playoffs from yesterday. That was indeed Optic and Ents. I actually think Ents can actually do it this minor. I think they might make it. It's impressive them, looking decent. Let's see who will step up from Group B. Obviously got the likes of NIP here, these 2 teams. And we'll see who makes it through. Obviously eyes on NIP primarily for everyone, I would say. It's been a while. 3 majors without them now. Didn't even make it to the minor process last time. really hope they do it. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. It's been 2 full years. This will be the 4th major cycle if they don't make it, in which they won't be present beyond the minor.
The thing is, they've just had such a dramatic change in the in-game leader just before this sort of thing. It's going to be difficult. It's not going to be a walk in the park, that's for sure. But anyway, 5 and 4. Dennis does go down, not that one. This is the Sprout Dennis. We'll see whether Reetz's dink will be a factor here, as he's gone down to 13 HP. Smoke's deployed this time. No one to spot if there's a gap. Cyclone is going to be making his way towards main entrance. You can see he's trying to look at it. You can actually hear them going down towards lower. So what's the reaction here?
It's got to be vent.
Well, there's no one down there from what I can see right now. I think there'll be... There it is. Cyclone does go towards the vent, but still, like we said, you can't really view the bomb side there. He has to go back up. He knows he's so isolated. Gets one kill.
Can't get out of the vents that easily anymore.
Speedy. That's a nice spot.
Well, that's the second rotation. Has to be from the ramp. He's dropped off when they push him. This time they're already in. They don't expect him. He wants to deny the plant, and he'll do so. Molotov from his teammate as well certainly aided.
They keep
that effort.
Like that.
Yeah, they haven't cleared the site many times, and they just go, oh, I can plant, but you haven't actually covered off the immediate danger.
Taz did before, and it's Taz that does it then. Just run in with the bomb. Like, surely he must know they're not going to just let him do that. Got to have some sort of cover.
The only round they won came to a one-on-one in the lower site with bomb planted. This time it's not, and that was also a dangerous plant, remember. Maniz has to be a hero to get them a second round. That's not going to happen. Percy shuts him down, and it's 8-1 in favor of Sprout.
Well, there we go. Another eco on the cards here. Lost bonus at the 4th stage once again. Partial buy available to them. So the CZs and Scouts will come out once again, but sorry, Kinguin are making some very basic mistakes right now. The bomb plants, if you're just doing that, just to reiterate, if you're planting the bomb, that's you out of the situation for 4 seconds. And if you've got no cover from your teammates, you haven't cleared the site, you're taking such a risk there, not even a calculated one really. You've got no information around you. If you just go for that plant and you go down, you not only lost a player, the bomb's now in a really compromised position, and you really do need to be careful and make sure that the proper procedure has been put through before you go for that plant. It's twice now, and they'll be a little bit gutted with that. But they do have the opening pick here at least. Mouse will find the first, but Dennis replies straight away. He has looked pretty decent this map so far. So a Sprout in general, 4 and 4, but only 1 AK so far, and that's Taz, and he's got 1 kill, 9 deaths. He's hardly in fighting form right now by the looks of things. Let's see whether him with the AK can find him a couple more kills.
Taz will move down. Again, they get to at least the ramp. 4 on 4. Cyclone has worked back toward the control room, and he's got position to find the first kill, but drops immediately after. They haven't had good success from that angle. So we saw Speedy go down there earlier on as well without even finding one. So this time slightly better off as they want to get the bomb plants. Maniz will do so. Again, safe side of Silo, this time away from the decontamination door, and Dennis downed by Reetz gives the advantage back to Kinguin. I shouldn't say back, but at least to them with the post plant, which is promising in itself, as Percy wants to come in from the left. Dark spot down below at orange box is a problem. No railing. Easier to drop down. Not even aware that that shot came in from below Percy. So has to be careful as Maniz slides back out yet again and spots him, but too little too late. Scout hits the headshot. Nato will go down as well to Reetz, and bomb will not detonate, meaning all 3 players near enough to the site will stay alive with guns, and with a reset potentially on the cards again, having 3 stay alive is not too bad.
There we go. That was a bit better from Kinguin. Another single AK round. They're yet to win a gun round, but they've won 2 partial buys so far. Can't argue with that too much. They still put Sprout in a very uncomfortable position. You can see their buy coming through 1 rifle. There is an AWP. SMG certainly viable on the CT side. Lots of close range encounters. Lots of little nooks and crannies to hide within. AWP this time for Maniz. See whether he can open things up. Reetz waiting for any sort of mistakes to be made towards secret. See if anyone does dare look up and try and find a frag. That could be Dennis. I think he might be done for. He's going to go any further. Doesn't look like it. This one's to hold with the UMP. Luckily, with that sort of position, if he gets a kill at that range, the AK will drop down the steps and into his hands. So that could be interesting if it works out for him. This looks like some sort of execution being lined up right now. Taz getting the skylight shot out. Could smoke towards heaven. Molotov the HUD again. See what he decides to do. Cyclone with the close range CZ. That could be very important. Deadly, of course, at that range.
And it's just self-preservation flash as he falls off the stairwell. Percy on the door, MP9. Not a bad spot with the smoke down. It won't show his feet. He wants them to be gray screened. It does expire when the smoke is gone, however, but he goes aggressive. Now Zeno down. Okay, fair enough, Natto. Bye-bye, Rollin.
What is that about?
Just doorway, man. Just aim at the doorway and press the button.
And he's gone for the M4 as well. That's quite smart from Natto. He knows he's buying so much time at this point. He's spotting weapons. It's getting awkward. He does get the dink, and that follows up with a kill. Lovely stuff so far from the CT. 3 versus 1. Taz, 2 frags so far, but he has got the bomb. Books it towards lower. He's got to go all the way around towards Decon here. Presumably plant behind the silo. Hope he can make it. Remember, oh, close the door behind you. He wasn't born in a barn. And unfortunately, that's going to be the end of the round for him, as he will be dropped.
Doesn't run with his knife out. Leaves the gun, and then goes back to close the door.
Yeah.
Might have been better if he just booked it, but he was being a little cautious that time. 9-2 for Sprout.
Yeah, they're doing well on these really difficult buys they've got. And Natto, that fair play to him, that was very smart. Like, I thought, what's he doing with Incendiary? Well, how's he going to throw that top of nest? But I saw what he was doing as it played out. He knows he's going to boost them towards the aircon units. He knows they're going to try and pincer him from the ladder and upper. He Molotovs that area, and that forces one of them to think, you know what, I'm going to try and surprise him. And they run through, he no-scopes, and then picks up the M4, delays him with the smoke. It's really quite well played. 5 and 4 though, Dennis goes down early. That's the AWP of Beniz doing some work. He is the top fragger so far, and they'll try and get down towards lower. Natto looking for any sort of footsteps he can if he can spot the little booties through the smoke there. Cyclone applying the pressure and the pain. Great HE grenades, but a better shot coming in from Rallen. It's at the Percy now, the last line of defense, and he really does not handle it well. The run and gun technique not known to be that effective. Speedy will bring one back and defend lower, but presumably they just go towards up at this point.
That's so. So perhaps back-to-back rounds. I shouldn't say back-to-back, excuse me, but 2 out of 3. And avoiding the reset for Kinguin. Natto's got other ideas. Good shot towards Squeaky early on. Swaps over to a gun instead. Back the op. So he's going to go CZ. That's all he wanted, and it works. Just absolutely destroys Rollin. 19 HP for Taz, and they're going to push from either side. Good play. Finds the first. Now he can play off the bomb. But so too does Natto know his position. And with the HP as it is, all too easy. Doesn't have a kit. You're right. Does he have the time? This is going to be close.
Very close. I don't think he has that.
That's
he's got it.
I think he does. Oh, man. Just barely.
That was an exciting finish. There we go. Huge round, actually, by the way. That had so many implications for Sprout if they lose that round. And Natto, he's playing out his mind right now. Very well done by him. That CZ kill especially. Great shoulder peek just to spot the shoulder of the remaining player. Then the 1 versus 1 at Taz, low HP. Luckily defuses the bomb with less than half a second, I believe, to go. And it looks like another partial buy here from Kinguin. They are 10-2 down, but they can get 3 or 4 rounds. Trust me, they just win the pistol next half, it's still fine. I never get too worried on a map like Nuke. They'll go for the upper rush here. Cyclone, 1 kill. Looks like this won't be a problem at all. I say that, a couple of kills come in, but now a 3 versus 1. Taz should be dropped to this point. Now to Sapix to push the ramp. 11-2, another buy available now for the terrorists. Not an amazing one. A couple of players hovering beneath 4K there, so that's the armor, AK, and a smoke, basically. 11-2, this could be one of the quicker games, but we have seen Ents, for example, yesterday against the French, win 13-2 in the first half on a map that is considered CT-sided, and then lose a pistol and start fumbling around, can all fall apart. So, especially these kind of matchups, I'm not surprised when 13-2s get converted, you know, it's not like it's the best of the best playing it, the mistakes will be made, and clutches will be lost, and anything can really happen.
Yeah. No, this is... I mean, it's Nuke. Get a few more. Get 2 more.
Yep.
1 more, even. Give yourself half a hope.
I think they can get 1 more. They haven't won a single gun round yet, I'll say that much, but they have won 2 partial buys.
Natsu, good find on the first. Miniz goes down, tries to reset and re-aim. Rollin's got no response. That's Dennis. It's outside of the entrance, and with the smoke, all the massive gap, they're going to get through it. Rollin knows the shot will be reset, so he holds up. Meanwhile, Cyclone has rotated onto the back stairs, decontamination stairs through the vents. They're going to go around him toward control room. Speedy spotted. Well, also relay that information, and Cyclone just has to be patient because Rollin runs directly toward him. He now controls decontamination, and Speedy's gotten safely behind the bomb silo.
Good position from Cyclone here. He's got them locked in really towards that window room. He knows they can't fall back. Speedy's got the bomb site. This looks like a guaranteed round to me for Sprout. Positions are too strong, but Mouse, I didn't see him there. That's a guaranteed kill for him, and maybe the opener they need it as the reply comes in. That's the bomb going down, and Speedy can just reposition it to a more awkward spot. Works out perfectly, and now with less than 20 seconds remaining, it's Reitz, who has got the bomb, who can run towards upper. That's pretty much his only option here. He has to run up and just go for the plant behind the silo here.
They're aware of it.
So he'll get the bomb down, and Cyclone can't really afford of his HP to do much more than wait for his teammate. So he'll just throw the utility, and he'll actually go down here by the looks of things. Reitz is playing this well, good positioning. Takes him down, but the trade should be available to Speedy here.
Man.
And there it is.
I thought he had the headshot angle.
Nah, Speedy had that.
Right, listen, I was trying to be dramatic. It was possible. He did read it well, but he just couldn't get the shot
As long as
off.
you've got good comms there, and you've got your positions locked down, there should be no way that he can win the round. So they did a good job. Good fundamentals, good comms. Speedy, never going to be a superstar, but he's a safe pair of hands. Final round, 12-2. There he is. And there is a buy available. Loss bonus just beneath the maximum again. Reiterate it once more time. They didn't win the pistol. They haven't won a single gun round. This has been a bit of a horror show from Kinguin. It's not that they've done anything fundamentally wrong. I guess the bomb plant situation was a bit out of control for a while. But it's just been lots of tight, close rounds. They have got towards lower. Unfortunately, they just get out-positioned. Sprout just played well in the big rounds. He wants to try and drop down here. That's the problem with solo round plays. If you do go down with absolutely nothing, you really do compromise almost the entirety of the map because it's such a access point as Dennis and Percy fight back. Still a 3-on-3, and look at the damage inflicted to Mouse and Taz.
Yeah, Speedy's been playing very efficient in that position. Has been dropping off a number of times, but this time gets caught out. They finally get the headshot lined up correctly. Cyclone's going to try and take the map back all the way at outside for Sprout. You mentioned it as well. The HP's not really there, but they're going to go ramp either way. Bit of noise from Malzino as he already steps down. Percy's not yet rotated. He may not need to if Neto's already got the position down there with the AWP. Silently check it all. New box jump back up onto the catwalk. Not a Sapphic, still with the AWP, is unable to find them, and he's the only one down there, so they have to get the rotations in place. Plant from Kinguin, this could find them the third round.
Yeah, very important one as well. This is massive for them. Decent plant this time. Patrolling towards the ramp, but he's met by Cyclone. Reitz in a very checked position. It's up to Mouse now. He really has to put on a bit of an aim display at this point. First shot, not that crisp, and this should be a trade out once again, but Reitz does reposition. It's the CZ. Or the Deagle, I should say, that comes out on top, and that's going to be another round in the bag for Sprout. That defuse will be absolutely fine. Don't worry about that. 13-2 is your scoreline. Another bomb plant, and they finish the half without a single gun round found. And they do get two. I guess that's fine. They can win the pistol. There's still a chance they can win this one. But Nato, some absolutely epic rounds. I don't think he had the most amount of kills in the squad. Oh, he wallbangs in to finish them off. Oh, that's cheeky. But he had so many clutches there and high impact opening picks. That play towards upper as well by Heaven with the Molotov was very good. So he seems like a nice addition to the squad. One of the newer players, I believe, since we last saw them at the Boston major qualifier. I guess that's what it used to be called. I guess it's called the Challenger stage now.
Challenger stage, that's right, yeah. It was called Challenger stage in Boston. That was the first time.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, the Challenger portion.
So,
round of 24.
Indeed. You still get stickers, team and players, but it's just not a separate tournament like a minor, then a major qualifier, then the major. It's all kind of all put together in one show now.
Well, we get underway with the second pistol, Kinguin. You know what the story is. Mini's outside. We'll try and watch. But the smoke down at Annex means that he won't see them if they wrap toward Rollin. They've also smoked off his locker, suggestive that they want to, in fact, go all the way outside and get above him. He's aware of it. No one in Heaven. He is not. Minis, he is down below, and that's a problem. Taz is looking that direction, can at least spot it. But that's going to have to be relayed to Reitz, who's in the corner. Tough position to be in. Good shot from Taz as he fumbles over his own positioning, but a second headshot drops the bomb. That'll allow his teammate to come up the ladder from behind, and Miniz takes down Natasapix. All onto Cyclone. He's spotted and dropped. Good play, actually. Good read from Taz.
Well, unfortunately for Sprout, it won't be the quick finish. Nice little upper push from Sprout. They managed to get towards the ladder, but finally some form from Taz coming in shows us that he's still got it with those nice crisp USP headshots and no bomb planted. That could be very difficult situation to recover from. You can see the Glock approach from Speedy here. It's going to be Dennis with the opening frag though. Lovely. Towards Rallen. They can win this round back. That should be GG, but there's going to be Minis who pulls things back to an even keel. Reeds takes the advantage right back from them. There's the auto shotgun I mentioned. You will see that from time to time on the CT side. And unfortunately, Speedy wants to be at the Zeus. I guess this is his little tactic he's got. Get towards the vent, wait for an on to rotate, Zeus him. I don't think we'll get a chance to show us what this could potentially do though.
Eagle from site ground, shotgun from Taz. Shotgun from Taz. That range as well, gets Speedy with the headshot. I've seen a shotgun many times on Nuke. Oscar more recently, and perhaps famously for all the wrong reasons as opposed to Hiko. Took some flack for it.
Yeah, there was that one infamous game where it really didn't work out for him, but fully can have a Sprout. Still absolutely fine here, but we'll see what they can do. It'll just be Glocks, a P250, and should just be a guaranteed round at this point for Kinguin. Some maps for Ecos can happen, but not Nuke, really. It's not going to be a thing. You might be able to get a couple of kills in a bomb plant, but it's very unlikely you get much more than that. Reeds with the opening frag. Nice calm clicks with the FAMAS to open things up. That takes down Dennis. We'll see him work a little bit more here with his teammate Rallen. That's bomb down, round over, and it's just a formality at this point. And down he goes. Jumps to his own death.
Yeah. It's a graphic death.
Indeed.
Which event was that again?
What's the
Oscar,
one where
shotgun?
I think it was a Star Series.
That's right, yeah, I think that's right. I was trying to remember and I could not. Minis has brought out an auto sniper.
The auto sniper on the CT side. They've got an auto sniper, an auto shotgun. Are they only exclusively playing with fully automatic weapons? The auto sniper is out. I haven't seen that.
I mean, the shotgun's not really fully automatic.
Let's call it the automatic shotgun, isn't it? The auto shotgun.
Yeah, because it, yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Auto sniper, that's normally one of the weapons that you bring out when you're running away over you're the one winning 13-2.
Yeah.
That's when that comes out. I've never seen it in the first gun round. I'll say that much.
I've seen it in a few different overtimes. You go back to Flamey in the finals of, or rather not the finals, the semifinals against Cloud9 in Columbus Major.
Sure.
They used it there. Flamey used it for 2 rounds on Cash.
It's great for spamming smoke, so I guess it does make sense in that regard. They do smoke towards Secret. You know they're about to cross. You can just spam that all day long, and you can get a load of kills in there. I guess it is underrated in that sense. There's no reason why it can't be used if you've got an inkling of how they operate. So this is exactly it. He can spot when they cross. He can just about maybe see a footstep there. I'm not sure. But they're actually going for the upper split. So they're going to look for going in front of the smokes. Flash in. Nice flashbangs when it comes up. But they're going to get pincered here, surely. Yes, there it is. Reeds. He did get flashed, but they still have the 4 versus 3 now.
Oh, good shot from Percy. No, Reeds back down. Taz still with the shotgun inside is showing us exactly how it should be done. Remember, it was rotations that costed Oscar. This time they go directly toward Taz. Twice in a row they have. And Meniz reveals the auto sniper by getting Percy at the end, Henry.
Well, the auto shotgun does deliver for once.
For once.
I want to see the auto sniper get stuck in. 13-6, and this is it now. We're probably going to see all 30 rounds. This is when you start to have to think, right, okay, we didn't win that pistol. Gun rounds aren't working. We haven't had a single plant yet. Are they going to do the exact same to us? 13-2, now 13-6, 4 in a row. Another eco.
Right. Good job, Percy. Stay outside with the M4 as well. Further damage toward the silo. Roland, meanwhile, still trying to do damage where he can. Gets an M4 of his own to get the shot off before going down in the end. He only had 6 HP when he got the kill. Therefore, the Deagle was able to dispose of him, but still 4 players survive. Kinguin getting another round. We're 7-13. They're starting to make this possible. On the CT side, remember, double digits, as Henry would often say, is where you start to get excited or start to believe that it's a reality.
Will this work out? AK is available now for both teams. See Miles and Taz there. And a map like Nuke, the AK is absolutely superb on the CT side. Lots of title angles you can go for. Reeds wants to get stuck in there, but Dennis continues that good form we've seen from him so far here on Nuke. Remember, best of one. Not an elimination game or anything like that. This is the beginning of Group B. Maniz with the auto sniper. I'm kind of excited to see whether he can cause some damage with that. It is a difficult weapon to use. There's a lot of damage, but he can get caught out with it. A little bit more expensive than the AWP as well. Speedy takes a tick of damage here. That will give up at least by the squeaky door. I'm not sure they heard it.
Rollin would be the one that would have. And he certainly seems inquisitive in that direction. There's still a player behind him that wants to get in towards Secret. Mouse, meanwhile, on ramp, has company heading his direction. No one has used that theory-crafted smoke yet.
Which one?
Lands like on the foot right
in
front of the pillar, and then you can see underneath of it. Yeah, when you play on the ramp.
Oh, lots of kills though for Kinguin. This is looking very promising for them. This game is not done just yet. Cyclone's going down as well. Good positioning there from Taz as the bomb dropped inside the hut. Speedy left in a 3 versus 1. Ladies and gentlemen, does he have what it takes? I'm not sure. The positioning looks too good from Taz. And there it is. This is looking much better now, and this is where things can start to collapse. They know it as well. Kinguin are like, well, everything's going well for us so far. We haven't really had a single close round. Mouse gets it done. They all go through ramp one by one. Those smokes are deployed. Problem is, you go ramp like that, you need to have at least one smoke, either in front of the CT entrance or towards the left-hand side of that box. You don't just get completely clotheslined like that by 2 players when you're trying to look between both. If you don't have one smoke or a flash or something just to kind of push one of them back, that's really not worth, in my opinion. CZs and a maximum loss bonus, partial buy coming in. And CTs look like they can handle this. Is where the auto sniper comes in. Oh my goodness, it just paints bullets around them, but still they get the first kill. No damage inflicted with the weapon so far.
Yeah, that's crazy. Didn't even do any damage. But Rollin inside of the vents will, and Speedy tries to shoulder bait him out. He's got a teammate in Mauzino already on the side, so too with Maniz. Now the auto sniper makes its presence known as he finds Dennis inside of the control room. Sprout, meanwhile, get 2 back. Now to Sapphics and Cyclone, they lose one of the 2. Leaving us with just the Cyclone. Are you a crony or a phony?
Both.
Nice. What's a crony?
Well, you normally say Sadicus is coming to England with all his cronies. You know, it's like your crew, your mob.
My entourage?
Yeah.
Of like 2 people, one of which is my dog.
That's your cronies?
That's my people.
Fair enough. Well, 3-on-1.
The other's my right hand.
Cyclone will be making his way down. Behave. As we'll see whether he can do anything here with 30 seconds. He has been relatively undetected, but remember, he hasn't got the bomb. So, like I said, the vents don't gain you access at all. So he has this going towards Deacon. That's presumably shut. Oh, is it blown off? I don't know. It looks like it's half on. As he'll make his way through. It is indeed open. And he will be taken down. So there we go. It's going to be Mouse to get the final headshot there, and 13-9. As soon as double digits come in, that's when you realise your lead has completely disappeared. Yep. As they're on the CT side now, they presumably
Taz, by the way,
comfortable.
From Virtus Pro days, will know that anything is possible on this map, so he wouldn't have been too worried unless they lost that second pistol.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, at this level, in this particular matchup, you know Sprout on a perfect team. If they do start losing, that lead can disappear very quickly. I think at the lesser levels as well, Nuke isn't as balanced. He's even more CT-sided because they just don't have the firepower to make it work on the T side, to make those AKs really do well in those difficult battles, and you run out towards upper or ramp room. They have to rely more on executions and stuff, and Nuke isn't that sort of map. Every team pretty much does the same strategy. So do those outside smokes, try and walk towards lower, split the bomb site, or they'll execute towards upper or run a default. That is pretty much all you can do. You can do a couple of fakes and variations of set strategies, but that's the basic gist. Most playbooks will look quite similar, and if you don't have the firepower to go with it, it can be a very difficult map to operate on the T side, and that's why you see so many rounds go in favor of the CT side, especially Tier 2, Tier 3. 1 minute 40, and Auto Sniper still hasn't even been taken out once. I mean, he's looking very comfortable. Sprout yet to post a single round in their T side.
Percy up on top of Silo. Smokes down. He wants to spot above them. If Reeds dare peek. And he's again. Seems to be the go-to. Not so far. Rollins blinded. He'll finally get taken down. The opening pick in favor of Sprout, and therefore the opening to the site as well. The main entrance, but not for Taz. He'll swing back out. Find bomb, find Dennis, but not a kill. As Dennis finds the headshot first, stays alive, only just on 8 HP. M4 from Reitz, and Meniz gets the nade onto the aforementioned player who is bleeding out. Speedy's desperate to try and bring this down to a one-on-one. He manages that at least. Molotov knows where Reitz is and wants to attack rather than go for the bomb. Catches him off. Smart play, I have to say. 14-9.
It's happening. They are managing to pull it back somewhat. That's Sprout. Somehow making that round work in a 3 versus 1. Speedy, absolutely fantastic play with the AK-47 there. That looked like an absolute locked round for Kinguin. They're going to change things up and go for a double sniper setup here. Mouse and Meniz. An auto-sniper and the AWP. Have you ever seen anything like it? I've seen double orbs quite rarely. Never this setup though. We'll see if it works out for them. 1 minute 40, very early on in the round. They've already made their way towards outside with the said smokes. If they get reset here and Kinguin find the 10th round, I'd say even overtime's looking possible. Who would have thought? Smokes outside. And he's not there to spam them down this time. To be fair, he wasn't really doing much damage to the auto sniper. He's jumped past the bullets and time it well. They will be slightly shot in the ankles there as Dennis makes his way towards Secret. 4 players now down towards lower. And it will be Speedy to hold the ramp room for any sort of flank to try and pinsert towards lower. He'll get the first kill on Rowland. Mouse now not really with the ideal weapon towards lower. If he misses 1 shot, that could be it, but he has got some decent backup now. Hits the first shot, and he knows there's a player beneath him, but that's the second one talking about. As soon as you miss that first, you will be taken out, but they're still fighting back here admirably. 3 on 3. Taz does pull 1 back, but now he's stuck towards upper. The bomb's making its way towards lower. Reitz, the only real hope here for Kinguin, and unfortunately will be taken down. I was about to say he doesn't have the incendiary to deny the plant, but he gets his head blown off. Taz, I don't think, can justify going for this one. It's going to have to be map point for Sprout.
They've got enough money to force, and they're going to get, obviously, 1900 on top of this, so they'll go for it.
The M4, though, and he can drop an AWP next round. That's
True.
The only thing he can do. He's not going to win this, unfortunately. This is not feasible.
Waiting for a peek on his right side. Not wrong. There's a player inside by the garage door, and 15 rounds achieved from Sprout. Remember, best of 1s to start off the day. 3 of them.
Yes.
2 opening matches in the group, then the upper, and then we got our lower bracket and our decider in best of 3s.
Yeah, if you make it through the upper bracket, of course, you get to go to the playoffs, and it's a much easier route and play as many games. If you do go down to the lower bracket and you have to make it through that way, it means you're adding extra games in there, best of 3s, deep runs. We had a late finish last night with the Ents boys managing to finish like just after 12, I think it was, and it's like that's when the fatigue starts to set in. It's basically, what I'm saying is try and stay in the upper bracket best you can. It's a lot simpler, but we'll see. I'm interested to see what storylines we get out of this Group B, because some big teams here, some big names, NIP most notably. But for now, Sprout with map points. Can they close things out here? I still think overtime's on the cards. No auto sniper this time for Meniz as they spam the bullets towards the smokes.
Percy. They already get down Secret yet again. They've got to clear the corner on this site. Tougher to do now as well. The vent no longer leads to that junction, so you've got to commit to going all the way in to finding him. And Mouse can just watch the window. He knows they're that direction. Molotov's already out. Good read on the flash. And down either way. Percy in. Sprout with the start.
Bomb down as well early. Man advantage. No kits, I believe. And a horrible flashbang for Meniz. That's gonna be it, surely. I'm not sure. 4 versus 3 as the CT start to pull this one back. 1 more frag should do it. There we go. This would be an absolutely epic round for them to turn around, but still, remember, no kits. So they do have to operate very quickly here. That's going to be a kill for Percy, almost guaranteed. Doesn't want to fumble this at all. This kill might be enough. Speedy now can just play the bomb. Doesn't fall back enough, but still finds the kill mat. There we go. 13-2, got a little bit scary for them, but a best of 1 victory there for Sprout. They continue in the upper bracket, and now it'll be Kinguin, the Polish boys, going down to the lower. What do you think of Sprout?
Yeah, I mean, not bad. It's tough to read. Look, there was a lot of clutches that went their way in the first half, obviously, to bring that to a 13-2 scoreline. And without that, I don't think they win this game. But that's Counter-Strike. That's how it goes. And they kept their composure. They looked relatively solid in their Defense, T-side, not amazing, but ultimately got the job done, and that's the most important thing.
Sure, absolutely. Got a bit scary for them, but a best-of-1 format. If you win the map and you get a good half there, sure, you made some mistakes in the second half, but it doesn't matter. No one's going to remember that game. You're just getting through it. That's all it's about. Group stage is just about making it to the other side, right? No one's going to be really remembering your form or how he looks. But there we go, Matthew. That's going to be it from us, and I think we're moving on to...
Well, we're going to in a minute.
Okay.
I'm not sure that's... Look, in order to be an interviewer, you have to have long hair. It's a qualification here, to face it. I don't know that Paul has brushed his neatly enough yet, so I think we're just waiting for him to tidy up.
Okay, well, he's going to be working on that right now. Maybe he's got a little ponytail in store for us. Maybe he's going to be working on it.
Man bun? I've never seen him wear a man bun.
It would have to be pretty big for his, you know? That would be a pretty epic man bun going on. That'd be more of a man cake.
Man head?
Cake.
Oh, cake. Okay.
Cake.
Cake?
Yeah.
Oh, bun,
buns,
cake. I couldn't hear
that.
the music. I didn't know what you were saying. Okay. I get what you're going with there. Yeah. That kind of works. But he should be standing by any second, I'm sure. Maybe not, Henry. NIP's coming up.
They are coming up.
Ah, there. He's ready now. He did finally do his hair. Maybe he's tidying up his goatee a little bit too. Paula, over to you.
Thank you very much, Matthew and Henry, for that, and congratulations to Sprout. I'd like to talk to Spiddy and Dennis first. Guys, just give me your initial reactions to beating Kinguin there before we get onto the meat of discussion.
To be honest, we had really sick preparation and we really knew we will win this match. It was super close in the end. We had a really nice first half. Then they made a sick comeback. There was an unbelievable clutch and we were insanely happy that we won it.
Yeah, I feel the same. I mean, a huge thanks and a huge, it's an honor to work with our coach Toby. I mean, I was waking up like at 8 or so today, then I checked WhatsApp and I saw like at 6 a.m. he wrote, guys, I'm going to bed now. See you later. So he was sitting until 6 a.m. in the practice area. He kept watching demos. I mean, the whole last week he watched demos and he just prepared for every opponent here and we just had the perfect game plan on Nuke. We played them twice before online. So yeah, we kind of knew what they were doing and yeah, it worked great.
That's awesome. It sounds like you guys and your coach have been working hard. Now, I want to talk about you guys individually and as a team in your organisation. Firstly, Dennis and Spiddy. The last time I think I saw both of you was when you were on Mouse. After you guys left that team and got onto Sprout, how have things been and the journey to this point now?
Yeah, the journey is like, it's a really long way. I developed a lot as a person. Like in Mouse, I was always kind of a support player. I dropped guns for the others because I think, okay, it's probably better that they have the big guns. You develop as a person, not just in-game. You think, okay, you're mental stronger. You think, now, okay, I need the big gun now. I want to make frags, and I think that's the main thing that changed.
Yeah, I think my improvement started in mouse spots after Nico left. I improved there quite a bit. Like we had the new team with Robs. Robs joined us and Speedy left us. So from May till July, I think it's actually it's right now a year ago that I got cut from mouse spots. Yeah, it was a bit harder to climb back again. I joined Sprout then at the end of the year. Yeah, we just kept improving. We had some changes. We changed Crystal, we changed Innocent, and Zen from Penta back then. So yeah, we just kept improving. I just tried to give my best. My coach helped me to also improve my mentality and stuff. So yeah, it's worked great until now, and I hope we can keep this up.
Thank you, guys. I'll be back to you shortly. Now, let me talk to Cyclone and Percy. If you could come over here, or just a bit closer. I want to get a bit of background on you guys, because you're players that I'm not too familiar with, and maybe some people at home are. Give everybody at home a bit about your backgrounds.
My background, I've mostly played with Copenhagen Wolves and Tricked, which was a few years back. At that point, we were almost like a top 30 team, but we never really made it into the top 30. So I've never really been in a team where we got this far and played on this level of CS. So for me, it's very special, and it means a lot to be here.
Yeah, I've been climbing the ranks of lower-level CS in Denmark. Not so long ago, I played for Fraxers, and I think I played there for 2 months. Then I had a good event at Crossborder Esport, and North Academy needed a new in-game leader. So they contacted me and we found a solution where I could play for them. So I've actually been in the North offices playing just before going here to Sprout. So, I mean, it's just been a climb throughout, which is nice.
It's interesting to see that the Danish connection is still there. And so, guys, now what's it like for both of you to be on an organisation like Sprout, which your teammates, I'm sure yourselves, think so highly of?
Personally, I think it's really nice because it's the first time I've actually only focused on CS. Like doesn't have to worry about anything else. I can just focus on becoming better individually and as a team. So for me, it's everything. It's the entire difference between making it and not making it.
I mean, for me, it's the same. Obviously, all the management and stuff is taken care of. The coach Toby watches a lot of demos and stuff, and it's just so easy for me to create the perfect game plan together with him. And with, I mean, for me, it's not about the things around the game. It's more the players for me that makes the difference. Like Timo and Dennis, they're so experienced players, and it's just a joy to play with someone like them.
Awesome. And now I must talk to the young gentleman in the middle of both of you. Mr. Nato, we have a history ourselves. I remember a couple years ago, maybe even more, 3 or so, when we were both just doing YouTube and we'd speak and we'd invite each other to games and stuff. And at one point you decided to turn your career in the direction of professional CS. How are you feeling right now, by the way? You look slightly emotional.
It's just crazy, man. Seriously, I feel like I'm so close to tears. I just have chills all over my body, even. Two of my best friends standing here talking about, their entire history, and it's just beautiful. I can't believe we fucking did it. Sorry, it's a family show and all that, but I can't keep it in. It's fantastic.
It's absolutely fine, and keep that energy, keep that emotion. Now, going back to my original point I want to make with you, you were doing YouTube, you're focusing on that, and then you turn things in this direction, and look at where you are now, competing at a minor for a spot at a major. Just tell everybody what that's been like, and have there been ever any trials and tribulations and to get to where you are right now?
It's been nothing but, trials throughout. I think there's been 3 or 4 times during my career, at least, where I've legitimately been wondering if I should just quit and just say I'm not good enough.
I do remember, sorry to interrupt, there was a period, I think you even made a post on Reddit about it. You were looking for a team, you're struggling to find a home, and it seems like you have now in Sprout.
Yeah, it's everything I could ever dream of. I have, 4 of my best friends here in the team. I have a wonderful coach who works on me not only individually, but also works on our game plan, as the others have brought up. And I have a family, friends that all support me. And I obviously now have my YouTube backing as well, and my Twitch, and all these supporters who write nice stuff to me on Twitter that I can read, which I do, and I really appreciate it. So, yeah, I'm just very thankful and very happy.
Wicked. Nato, I'll leave that for now with you. Let's head on over to your coach. And so your name is Toby?
Yeah, Toby.
All right, pleasure to meet you, Toby.
Yeah, for me as well.
And so tell me about what your teammates at the end were saying about your preparation and what your role is as coach.
Yeah, like they already said, I'm preparing our opponents, but mainly I prepare our game plan, or I think about how we can get better for this event. Obviously, I prepare the opponents, and we learn a lot for ourselves by that. And then, I have to always talk about mental things as well. Yeah, tonight, for example, I didn't even analyze. I just made like a motivational video for us, where I just put scenes together from our nice plays from the qualifier, and we watched it before, so we get hyped and directly into that mode where we left at the qualifier, the open qualifier. For something like this, for example, I do as well.
I think that's a really cool approach. I've not heard that before. I think I'm going on quite a bit now, but one final thing then. Your role is super important, but also how key is it when a player like Spiddy steps up in a 1v3 near an end of a map to secure a round?
It's so crazy. It felt like he was pulling everything out of his body, what he has to offer. Yeah, it felt like his hand was shaking. It was insane, and feels super important for us. Yeah, but everyone is super important. Also, Cyclone is super important because I can do so much analysis, but he brings it to the table really. Yeah, and that's really important. Yeah, that you have someone in game who is able to remind all the things that you told him, and I'm really impressed by that.
And as coach, what are your thoughts on your potential next opponents, either Red Reserve or NIP, and overall your goals here at the minor?
Our goal is to win, obviously, or to go through. And I think now we have good chances. We beat already Red Reserve, and it will be a pleasure to play against NIP. I don't know, they play now.
Yeah,
so we are prepared for both of them. So we just want to meet them.
Wicked. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to all of you from Sprout, and congratulations on that first victory. Trace, these guys performed really well. I'd love to hear what you guys on the desk have to say about everything.
Well, I believe, Paula, just about everything was said right there.
Paula was conducting an Oscars acceptance speech there of some variety. You would think that they just won the major with the amount of questions we just asked them.
Yeah, I mean, there was literally nothing left to spare. I could tell even
they were running out of words.
They were running out of words. They were running out of answers. Maniac, what was your take on that interview?
Oh, you mean the 5 interviews?
Oh, there we go.
It was in depth. It was very in depth. I think we learned a lot about all the figures in that team. And I'm feeling equipped of knowledge. But you know what, Trace? I don't mince words. In that game, the scoreline may have been one that looked like it was commanding by Sprout, but it definitely wasn't if you watched the game. There were so many post-plant scenarios, so many situations where individuals on Sprout had to step up and close out rounds. It wasn't the cleanest, most clinical CT lockdown that you're ever expecting. And I think that them being happy with the win is fantastic. It's a step forward in the right direction. But in the pre-game interview, I think... what will we call that one? We'll call that interview -1, or I don't know, like before.
Day 0.
Yeah, BC before, or BP before Paula. But we cracked that one on, and that was where they said they felt very tactically ready for this game. In terms of the strats, it was individuals. It wasn't really the strats that saved them.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I think Kinguin were very poorly paid for their T side, because I feel like they kind of they managed to pass through the first obstacles, which is basically the most difficult thing to do as T on Nuke. You want to get to these situations where you plant the bomb, you're playing a 3v3, and suddenly I would even say it can be T side advantage, the situation. But somehow props to Sprout for winning, I think, 90% of these clutches, and that's really what actually brought the 13-2 score.
Yeah, I mean, having 2 rounds to show for your T side is not going to help you going into the second half whatsoever. But they did find a little bit of solace in finding those rounds that kind of started to equate the match out, but ultimately it was just too overbearing from Sprout.
Yeah, look, I think like we're saying is the game was closer than what it actually shows within the scoreline, and we may actually have something to bring up on screen here to help demonstrate that.
Do you want to do that? Is it about that time?
Yeah, I think it's about that time.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. You know what? We got a little bit of something prepared here, and we're going to take a look at it. Let's do it, boys.
Well, as I was alluding to, because of how close it was, you can see in a second when this pops up on the screen, the money situation that was unfolding for that of Sprout, right? I know you wanted to point this out, Maniac.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at the scoreline, it's an 8-2, so it seems like a very big domination from Sprout, but the reality is there's only 2 players that can afford to have a full buy, that is Speedy and NATO. They can have an AWP if they want to, or an M4 with full utility, but for Percy, Dennis and Cyclone, that is a hard situation to go into, and considering they just had won 4 rounds in a row before this round, I think it's a pretty good example of illustration of how close the game actually was.
Yeah, and the scoreline not telling the whole story, but the way that they reacted out of this is where I want to take the next point of discussion, Trace, because what they did when they got pressured and they were low on economy, low on weapons, and they had given up full yard control, which we're about to see, is their reaction. And it's difficult on Nuke to find these pushes, to find these aggressions, and to make the right decisions because of how close the choke points are. You can see here yard control has been taken over by Kinguin, and that's left a bit of a stack over towards that top site. NATO's going to have that AWP over towards ladder. He's going to get pressured as well. That communication's coming in, and you're about to see them push Squeaky in a minute. This is their reaction to the pressure. They're going to bust open Squeaky door. They're going to trade out efficiently, and now all the pressure from lobby has been alleviated by this push. NATO's going to stand up in a big way top of ladder using his utility, and then swapping over after an AWP kill to the M4, which is fantastic decision-making in this sense. But to lock out like this after giving up, outside control, a lot of teams really struggle at making those decisions. They just get sandwiched in and just Molotovs and flushed out of position, and then the teams will just crunch them down. So that's a really good decision in a very pivotal round from that of Sprout.
Well, let's talk a little bit now about what Sprout could do, not Sprout, what Kinguin could do going forward. I mean, this is obviously going to be a little bit of a setback on the road to getting a spot at the major, or sprouting themselves up there, I should say. But what could they and what should they focus on going forward?
Well, the thing is, it's really hard for me to draw clear conclusions. I think if you're Kinguin right now, you probably have the feeling that the scoreline didn't show the whole game. Yeah. You feel like you've done things right, definitely to get into the post plant. But then again, we didn't hear the communication. Maybe the communication was a bit iffy, a bit erratic. Maybe there's some pressure coming into it. People peaking when they shouldn't have peaked. So that's probably what they are discussing right now. Why did we lose all these clutches that would have given us a very good T half?
Right.
That is, in my opinion, what they should focus on in the next games.
Well, the statistics do not lie, and the numbers therein. Let's take a look at some of the numbers across this matchup on Nuke, which did play out heavily in Sprout's favor, and perhaps we saw some auto snipers coming out. Really and truly, what the hell is going on, Dan?
Well, look, I think the auto sniper thing is at ramp can actually be applied pretty well, right? But the fact of the matter was, as the economy was being whistled away when Sprout was finally chunking some rounds together, that's when rebuying the weapon gets a little bit questionable. But the point of the matter is, and Maniac was already making this point, was that if you're Kinguin, it's hard to look at that as a hugely negative game because the rounds that you lost are 50-50 rounds. They actually had a better T-side game plan than what I feel that Sprout did. Sprout just had more clutches and more individuals step up in the crunch moments.
Right.
So when you look at a game and you go, well, what did we do wrong? Oh, we didn't win clutches. Well, clutches are 50-50. And when you're in the T-side, it's maybe not 50-50 anymore. Maybe now we're looking at 30-70 or, you know, because it's different scenarios. So I don't think they should be too disappointed. It's just now they have to struggle through the lower bracket in best of threes.
And what you're saying is the scoreline is not indicative of how this actually played out. I mean, this was much closer than the numbers will let meet the eye.
Yeah, absolutely, and mostly because this T side is a situation where you can actually find yourself completely shut down and blocked. That can happen, and Sprout had the money, but still, Kinguin were able to find the openings, get to this bomb plant situation, which in my opinion is probably one of the hardest thing to do on Nuke.
Yeah.
Because they could do that, but couldn't convert the clutches. That's where the conclusions are not so negative for them.
Well, so negative. Numbers tend to be negative, and perhaps we can take a look at our head-to-head as well, because we did highlight some players before the game, and now we're going to have a chance to revisit the same players that are standout going into this matchup, the team captains. Talk to me about Taz versus Percy in this matchup.
I guess this kind of builds into what we were talking about in terms of how the team is going to reflect on the situation, because we've touted the fact that Taz is a very experienced player. He's going to realize that a lot of those situations necessarily didn't need to transpire the way they did, and I think he'll quickly pick the guys up. So from his role within the server, he was, you know, in the middle of the scoreboard. It wasn't like anybody really was a standout for Kinguin. On the other side of things for Percy, he just kind of had to do his job. You know, when you're locking down the CT side in that regard, you're making one kill, you're trading, you're doing what you need to do efficiently. And at that point in a matchup where it's, you know, I guess clinical on the score line, not everybody is going to be contributing with 20, 30 plus kills, you know.
Not everyone can contribute at all times. Well, our first match is done and dusted. We have seen Kinguin fall, and we do see Sprout advance forward in this bracket. Perhaps we can take a look at the brackets now so that you can understand where this lands both teams, and ultimately who's going to have the longer road here. Obviously, Kinguin having dropped down to the lower bracket now, it's going to be a much longer day for them.
This is really going to be a very telling point for NIP, I think, in Maniac, because they bombed out, right, in the last event of Cologne. Like, absolutely bombed out, worse than I think we've ever seen. And I'm scared for them going up against the Red Reserve, who are a young, hungry Swedish team.
Well, I agree with you. I've looked a little bit into the matchup. They actually have destroyed them the last time they played, so Nip had a really easy game. But Nip is kind of an enigma to me at the moment. There is like two visions. First, you look at the lineup, you look at the players, you think this is a world-class team.
Yeah.
These are world-class players that are playing there. But somehow the results are not in accordance to that. So where do we put them at the moment? It's very interesting.
Perhaps we can't judge a book by its cover, but this cover does always have that potential to become explosive, so you can never truly write off the Ninjas in Pajamas. Let's also talk about something that's very explosive that I know Chad is so eager to tell you a little bit more about, and that would be the giveaway.
Oh.
FACEITmajor.com/giveaway. Chad, what do we know about it?
I thought we were talking about something else, but yeah, the 2 million points. You head over there, to the link that's going to appear at the bottom of the screen, somewhere down here, I guess.
It's already there.
Could be on you, but look, I'm not looking at the preview. I'm looking into your eyes. But you head over there, and you can win 2 million points on the FACEIT, and then you can buy things with it from the FACEIT store. Apparently, you can get 2 Dragon Lords if you want.
2 Dragon Lores is better than 1 Dragon Lore is what the old proverb says. Either way, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, it's going to be Red Reserve versus the Ninjas in Pajamas, and you do not want to miss this debut here from the Ninjas. Let's see if they can do it and pull themselves to another major. We'll be right back.